Back to one of our big political stories from today. The ANC Secretary-General, Magashule, is taking the party to court to challenge his suspension. This comes after he refused to step aside. The High Court in Johannesburg has set down 2 days to hear this application. Magashule was told to step aside as he's facing corruption and fraud charges, all related to the controversial Free State asbestos project. So where are we on this and what are we expecting? Senior reporter Siphamandla Goge joining us now as we look ahead to what we are expecting this morning. And I think, Siphamandla, for those who've been following this story, many were surprised to hear not just the threat of Magashule taking the ANC to court, but that he actually has now done it.
Unprecedented. That's what many people came to conclude after he decided to take that decision to take his own party, the governing African National Congress, to court. It's never been heard of before, where the Secretary-General of the organization, the engine, someone who's regarded as the chief executive officer of the organization, taking the very same organization to court, questioning the very same constitution that he uses every day to administer the running of the organization. So here we are today, it's Thursday. There are 2 days that have been set aside for this matter of Magashule versus the African National Congress. Respondent number one is the organization's president, Cyril Ramaphosa. Respondent number two is the Deputy Secretary-General, J.C. Duarte, who is the acting Secretary-General, the one, of course, who was basically ensuring that the issue of step aside when it comes to Magashule, empowered by the National Working Committee of the ANC and the National Executive Committee, signed that letter of Magashule's suspension. And respondent number three is the governing African National Congress itself. So today the matter will start. It will be a full bench of 3 judges at the High Court Division in Gauteng, which is of course popularly known as the South Gauteng High Court in Johannesburg. We expect that proceedings will be virtual. Yesterday, Magashule told eNCA that, well, the proceedings will be virtual, but his supporters said they will be coming out in numbers here to support him. He did discourage them when we interviewed him to say they shouldn't come here. At the center of Magashule's application and argument is that his suspension is invalid, unlawful, unconstitutional. He says he shouldn't have been suspended and he wants that suspension to be set aside. At the same time, in his own application and his own court papers, he argues that his decision, which shocked many people when he decided to suspend the president of the African National Congress, Cyril Ramaphosa, he wants that decision to stand. He says he's got authority. He had authority to sign that letter suspending Cyril Ramaphosa, but he argues that, well, his suspension is unconstitutional, and he says the ANC constitution is not above the country's constitution. So he says he's fighting for his own personal rights here, and he has decided to take this matter to court. He says if he loses it, he will be appealing. He says if the ANC loses this, they will be appealing. So today it will be the start of those legal arguments. Of course, Magashule, represented by Advocate Dalimpofu, senior counsel. On the side of the ANC, you have Vem Trent-Grove, one of the legal minds in South Africa. So it's going to be a legal showdown. At the center of it is the issue of Magashule's suspension. He argues that it should be set aside. It's unlawful, invalid, unconstitutional. The stage is set here for his supporters who will be coming to support him. He may come and greet them, but that's not confirmed for now since proceedings will be virtual. But right now we are joined by Riabetsi Popolan, who's one of Magashule's supporters. Thank you very much for your time. Why are you here to support the suspended Secretary-General?
We are just here to make it clear that we believe that the Secretary should be reinstated in his position as the HG of the ANC, and that we are truly behind him and we support him in all matters regarding him coming back to his position.
But some will say you should be allowing internal processes to unfold. The step-aside resolution is not for Magashule. Others have stepped aside. He has decided to take the matter to court. Some people say that decision was bizarre and in a way unprecedented for the SG to take his own organization to court. In your view, shouldn't he have stepped aside and allow internal processes to unfold?
I disagree with that statement, because if that is the case, I would believe that our very own president should have also been given that option to step aside. I mean, the fact that he's still running the country and he's still sitting in his position should also give a point to say that even the SG should be allowed to be in his position and to play his part in his position as the SG of the ANC. So in that regard, I do not believe that he is wrong in taking the ANC to court. He has a right. He's also a human within the structures of South Africa, of the Constitution of South Africa, and he has a right to do what is necessary for him to reinstate himself within the structures of the ANC as the SG of the ANC. And we support that, and we're behind him with that.
The resolution says those who are criminally charged must step aside. You mentioned the president of the ANC. As far as I know, he has not been criminally charged for anything. So why are you calling for him to step aside?
Well, in basis of what history has been taking place, or in the media that has been taking place regarding the president, we have had issues concerning his son, of what was happening regarding Pusasa, and such matters that are closely linked to him and his son. But in basis of that, what is very important is to say that even in the resolutions that were taken, that anyone who is being charged or any allegations, the court must take its place where he must be proven guilty, and ANC Magashule has a right to protect himself, and he has not been proven guilty as yet. So we are saying that until he's been proven guilty, then at that point he must take his position and stay in his position.
What will happen today? I see the stage is set. You are busy with the logistics here. Do you know how many people are coming here? Remember, we are in the midst of the third wave of COVID-19 in Gauteng. Numbers are very bad. How many people are you anticipating to come here, and how are you going to ensure that this does not become a super spreader event?
I believe that our comrades are very responsible, ethical, and wisdom kind of people. We won't come here to parade in numbers that will cause a massive spread. This is something we understand is very crucial and very important. So the numbers won't be too high. They'll be okay.
Thank you very much for your time. Well, that is Riabet Lopulane, one of the supporters of ANC Magashule. He is a member of the African National Congress as well as the ANC Youth League. We expect proceedings to get underway around 10 o'clock. I know we are out of time, but I want my colleague Lingen Dabambi to show you what is happening in the background, as well as the heavy police deployment that keeps on building up here as the law enforcement agencies are anticipating more people to come here. They are trying to control this in line with COVID-19 regulations to ensure that this does not become a super spreader event, as we take it back to you in Johannesburg.
All right, Sipha Mandla, thank you very much, and he'd back to you again a little bit later. Well, the hope is, of course, it won't turn into a super spreader event, but we've seen these things before at other venues outside courtrooms. Jeffrey